Good evening, listeners, and thanks once again for receiving us in your homes with your heart's love as we continue our studies of Keys to the Kingdom. 96.9. As usual, it's our great pleasure. We understand we are studying together. When we have shared our thoughts, you also have the opportunity to share your thoughts, and we also learn something from you. Thank you very much. We are continuing on our journey of learning how to become God. Becoming God, the path of the Christian mystic. And by way of a short recap, we say mystics are those who seek a direct experience of the presence of God. They yearn to know God, to see God, and to be one with it. And by way of a short recap, we say mystics are those who seek a direct experience of the presence of God. They yearn to know God, to see God, and to be one with God now, not when they go to heaven, now. There have always been mystics, and they have always plummed the earth, the depths, and scaled the heights of the soul's potential. Mysticism is not exclusive to Christianity. It is a vital, animating element at the heart of every religion. The aspiration of every mystic is one and the same: union with God. He does not postpone it because he cannot. The spiritual marriage, the mystics tell us, is not merely a conforming to the ways and will of God, but a total transformation of the soul into God. And this is the heart of the teaching that we are going through these days, looking at the book, Becoming God. As usual, I'll do a session in English and I'll switch to the account language. So as we do that back and forth, just do bear with us. Etiye for meye brofono kakra na mansan aba atwi kasa no mo. Enti amanya antiase amame kakra. Becoming God. We want to be God here and now. We want to be part of God here and now. How do we become it? That is what we are studying. The way of life that you lead or follow is what is called the mystical path. As a mystic, as somebody who wants to lead a mystical life, your way of life prescribed is what we call the mystical path. So there have been mystical paths until seem to have been lost. So we're looking at what dispensations heaven has provided us today to follow as the mystical path, the path of becoming one with God here and now, not in the hereafter, here and now. What is the provision for us? Our studies is from the book Becoming God, the Path of the Christian Mystic, written by Elizabeth Craig, Prophet of the Summit Lighthouse. Because the church no longer teaches the path to union with God, God has come forward with another spiritual path so that all the truths the mystics have discovered in the different mystical traditions, all these rays from the sun returning to the source, might quicken us and give to us an understanding that we can also follow back to the source. This is the path we pursue and teach in the Summit Lighthouse through its various organizations like the Keepers of the Flame Fraternity, our quarterly conferences, seminars, and workshops. And if you want to go deeper, there is a Summit University. That is a university laid out like program that you study on the path of mysticism. You go there to study the scriptures as a mystic, study life as a mystic, wanting to become one with God. If you have access to the internet, you can always go to the website, the Keepers of the Flame, keepersoftheflame.org, 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 one word, Keepers of the Flame, then dot and org. And when you read from there, you see what this mystical teaching on the mystical path is all about. And if you want to pursue the studies, then you can register there and enroll, and then you follow through. You can also make contact with me on the phone, and we can process that. Please, this is not a call for you to leave your church. It is a call for study. You can study this whilst you are in your church. Whether you are a pastor or a congregant, you can still study wherever you are, receiving your teaching, your lessons in the comfort of your home and online. And when the opportunity makes itself available and you want to join us in some group action, then you can visit us. So we are not trying to poke you from your church. When the time comes and you yourself feel that you want to be completely part of us, then that is a different matter. But you can go on the study without necessarily being a member of the church. You only need to register as a keeper of the flame, and you take your lessons, and we take the rest from there. We who aspire, so like I said, the path, Keepers of the Flame Fraternity, our conferences, quarterly, we count every 3 months in a year, our seminars and workshops, there are means by which you can study this further. 1 hour every Sunday is not sufficient enough for us to deliver all that there is for you to know. So it will be okay for you to pursue us and get registered so that you can receive your monthly lessons and also join us in conferences to study this further. We who aspire to the path today can call ourselves light bearers. Light bearers. We have heard about God bearers, those who have devoted themselves to the point that they are referred to as God bearers. They move along with God. So in that same vein, we have light bearers. The Greek word Christos means anointed. Christos means anointed. Anointed with the light. Anointed with the light. Anointed with the light. We are light bearers because we have the presence of the light, the Christ, in our bodies and minds. This is where I want us to take on very carefully, step by step. You are referenced as a light bearer because you have what? The presence of God as light, the Christ in our bodies and our minds. Light is there, the Christ is there in our bodies and in our minds. That is what makes us to be called light bearers. You are carrying light. So you can carry light wherever you are based on what you are doing with your life, recognizing that the presence of light is within you. And again, the scripture says, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Whether we feel it or not, this light inundates our souls, inspiring our hearts as though waves were breaking on the shore of our being. Because we have this inner light, we are that light, and the light is us, and we are transformed, even exalted by it. The light is in us, and the light that is in us transforms us and also exalts us. A light bearer then is a Christ bearer. And when we feel the light, what we are feeling is our higher self, our Christ self. A light bearer is a person who bears Christ, the person who is carrying Christ with him. That is the person that is referred to as the light bearer. And that anytime you feel the presence of that light, anytime you yourself feel that the presence of light is with you, what is actually happening is you are feeling what is called your higher self. The Christ moves with you. It is the higher parts, impurity of you. And it's always above you moving. When it decides to fill you, you experience it as light. So you have your higher self, and the soul is down below in this world of form. That higher self is the one who speaks to you in the still small voice, the voice of conscience. So anytime you are experiencing the voice of conscience, then it means the higher self, which is of the Christ. Our Christ self is the one speaking to you or having contact with you, occupying our souls and our body temple until the coming of our sweet Jesus. So you are moving around always with your higher self. This higher self infuses you with light, and it is a Christ of you, that hope of glory, hovering above you or moving with you at your top. And when it comes down into you, you feel that presence of light. And our desire is that we want to always have that direct contact with our Christ self, our higher self, so that whatever we are doing in life, we can have direct communion and direction from on high on how to do it to be successful. As we nurture the flame of Christ in our hearts, we know a gentle oneness that gradually becomes a more powerful union. We are required to nurture, to grow, or to turn that flame in our hearts to grow to the point that gradually we begin to experience life of Christ in us. It is not that because today you say, oh, I have received Christ as my Lord and personal Savior, so everything goes gay. No. You have work to do to gradually mature yourself to that point. You nurture the flame, you tend the flame until you get to that point or that height of experience. Now, how easy is that? The teaching that I bring to you is that God has placed within us a portion of himself, a tripartite flame or a threefold flame, that anchors his love, wisdom, and power. God has placed in us three flames together: a flame of love, wisdom, and power in us. Through this gift of the God flame, our soul has the potential to realize God consciousness, fulfill her reason for being on earth, and become one with God. Through this flame of love, wisdom, and power that God has placed in our hearts, this threefold flame, through this, our soul has the potential to realize God consciousness. So the fact that we have this flame of God within us grants us the opportunity to become God, if and only if we will nurture this flame to grow in us, so that our consciousness, our way of thinking, our way of doing things will be God-like, will be Christ-like. And through this, we'll have the opportunity to fulfill the reason for which we have come onto this earth, and then become one with God. Let's remember, as a light bearer, you have the Christ that you are carrying with you. And as you carry the Christ with you, you have this higher part of yourself, the higher self, the Christ self, which lowers itself into you more and more day in, day out, based on your application of the laws of God. So this Christ light descends into you, and that is what you experience as the feeling of light. The still small voice is the speaking of the higher self, the Christ self, unto you, that mediator between you and God. You are required to help this flame of God within you to grow. And this happens, or this we can do, because God has granted us a gift of the three flames of love, wisdom, and power, which has been anchored in us. So through this fire, these flames, we learn to become or to experience God realization in us as the awareness or the consciousness, the way of life of God. By so doing, we are able to fulfill our reason for coming onto this earth. And then we will also win our union with God. This teaching is necessary because it's been seen that as individuals experience the presence of that flame, yet are simultaneously dealing with their karma, they find it difficult to bear the juxtaposition of being one moment in God and the next moment feeling apart from God, when they find themselves again dealing with the human conditions. In life, as we go about our activities, yes, we find a situation where at the same time that God is infilling you, when you are becoming aware of God, at that same time, the burdens of this earth are also knocking your head. Then it becomes difficult to handle the two situations at the same time. The world is pulling you, heaven is pulling you. So the two are happening at the same time. How do you handle yourself to become a winner in this situation? That is why we need to study these things step by step, because as God is infusing light into you, you have also come onto this earth with some burdens upon your shoulders, what we call your karma. Your deeds are following you. The things you have done in the day and the night in this life are following you. They place their burdens before you at your doorstep. At the same time, God is also seeking to enter you. Then there's a fight. You can call it the battle of light and darkness going on within yourself. How do I grip myself onto God and be able to do away with that aspect of me that is trying to pull me away from God? That is the challenge. That is the challenge that we have to deal with in our lives. Unless these individuals have wise spiritual counselors, they often do not understand that this process of soul purification is a part of the path. And this path that we have to follow. 96.9. The message is, because you have this life with burdens of a karma that you have to deal with, and at the same time, God seeking to infuse himself into you, you need a spiritual guide. You need a spiritual counselor to show you what to do as you come face to face with these realities of God trying to befriend you and the burdens of your ill doings also staring you in the face. How do you handle yourself? You need somebody to give you a guide. These are all the reasons why people travel all around the world seeking what we call gurus, masters, so that they can go under training with them. Now you are here, the master has come before you by the airwaves. You are listening to the master's word, and it says, if you want to follow the path, we process you through a registration. We'll take you through step-by-step studies, workshops, conferences, seminars will be held. Then you can use that process to study and show yourself approved unto God. You don't need to travel to the Himalayas to go and look for the masters in the caves. So you need a spiritual guide. Now, it must be understood, and as I'm going to mention a few names, it must be understood that the spiritual journey or the spiritual path of a mystic, it becomes rosy when you have gone through all your tests and have mastered. But it is not a path that you are thinking that, oh, when I'm a mystic, I will not experience any challenges in life. And like I said, there is a one called Teresa of Avila. There is also another one, John of the Cross. The experiences of these two people that I have mentioned, there are a lot more. The experiences that they go through or they went through tells us of the need to purify the soul. The need to purge the soul. And that is a tough time. To purge you, to remove the darkness out of you, to cleanse and purify you. Going through the process of purging is with pain. But after you have been purged, then you go to the next level of illumination. You go to the next level of illumination. Everybody who wants to rise up higher spiritually goes through a step of purgation. You are pegged, you are scrubbed rough to clean you up. Then you'll be able to follow that path. So there's a process of purification that everybody who wants to be part of God has to go through. So there's Teresa of Avila. Teresa of Avila reading the Psalms description of the soul's anguish during those times when he was not in communion with his Lord, reflected, quote, "It consoled me to know that other persons had experienced so extreme a solitude," unquote. Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, and other great luminaries have documented their experiences and their understanding of the mystical path. Their writings have provided consolation for many. It is for this reason that we also offer books, lectures, and courses to offer hope and a path for souls passing through the labyrinth of life, their karma, on their way to union with God. As they go through the difficulties of their karma face to face, you help them to become one with God and go through. As we explore the mystical path in these studies, I think you realize that you have walked some parts of this path, but perhaps did not understand it as much. You might have gone through the path in the experience of life, but you didn't know that that is what was happening with you at that time. So the message is, if you can get hold of the story of Teresa of Avila and also St. John of the Cross, you also have St. John of the Ark. Get their books, stories of them, read them, see what they have they went through, how they went through the challenges of life, and then you come to realize that if you think you are having challenges in life, you are not alone. If you study this, then you know that if you are having challenges in life, you are not alone. So as you go through this, the way we are also providing you in coming to you to send this message across, and also asking you to join us so that you can have a step-by-step study, is all about helping you to face the responsibilities of life, the challenges of life, the tests of life, and become one with God. That is what we are bringing to you. Therefore, dear Makano, Bebre, ewo poto kasam, dear a woman is say, you see, a senior, ye betu ya namo asase so, yensu, yedi, yeben nanti asase so say nyame. Na, onu ne kan say, one or two sana mono ye from mystics. Omo adwum poni say, omo pe say, omo ni nyame eye baako ewa asase so. Enye say omo pe say omo kosoro ahimam ansa na omo nyame aye baako. Omo pe say omo ni nyame eka bom ewa asase so. Bra omo ni nam eko eba. Omo ko adwuma eba, omo ko afom eba, omo ko adwom eba. Ni nyina no, omo pe say omo tu sa na mo no say omo ni nyame na enante tembia e wasase so. Na oho na eka say ebeba no saa enya ade a yechi na enya ade a wontumi enye nsuso. Na say ya ba asase so e o nyame ni suban ni seso no ane o se yenso yem tumi ma nyame ni gya no edere ewo yemo. Na ekwan a ye fa so no onu na ye kire ho asem se kan titi na ekwan wo ho se obia to me enanti eso na wosusu wa beye oba nami ananti e wa asase so se nipa kro ro ba ko na said akoba no said yenya sa chechre no dodo na wo asorente no nyame ayaya adom e ma wape ekwan amayen se yebesua sa de no ono ni de roa yabo enfie du ba ko a yaba ha chechre ade no nyina no ni nyina ye ade a akwanya nyankopon ama se ye hu nima benum so na yemfantu ya namo yenim nima benum na yemfantu ya namo e wasase so ono na yesua ho se na me kan no e bia na ya ye bia nsusu na yenim se saa kwan ne yenam so na se opese ona kwan asase so na oni nyame eye baako eto anamo a na ehia se Kristo ne jano ewo wo mu a wudi ko baabia ukura Kristo ne jano anase mekan sa se wa kura Kristo ne jano ewo wo mu na wudi ko baabia na se si Kristo na eno ne den Kristo no na chese eye Greek kasa Christos chese ngosra na se ngosra na enguban na esra wo eye han ene ade asra wo eye han ene ade asra wo enti se wo ye obi a ye fra wo se library anase obi a okra han no edi ko ba bia na echese unyanti asese ebansa efise nyame ne jano ne han no ewo mu nyame ne han no ewo wo mu nyame ewo wo mu Kristo ewo mu ewo nipaduanum ene wa adwen ensuso mu ono ntina ubetumi ananti se lightbearer anase obi a okra han no e wasase so se eba no se wonti ne nka anase wonya sa tinka no po a saja no eyade a eninam wo kram ni nyina eyade a ekenya wakoma tembia ono nti na wotumitu anamo a wotu nti saa hanyi ewo yemu o se yenya nti asese ye saa han no ena yedi nanti eko ena saa han no ebua yen ma yenya nsakraye na bra yenya nsakraye nsusu no na ebua na wa ma yenso ensusu ewo sunsun mu enti wo a wukura han no ye fro se wo nsusu ukura Kristo obi a okura han bi no bia no ono nsusu okura Kristo ena ordinam na se ban se emre bi na unya saatin kan se sumsum no eye adwuma ewo mu a anase han no eye adwuma wo mu a na aye Kristo wo Kristo afa no Kristo na wo mu Kristo na wani wo nanti aye friend say your higher self wo Kristo na nyame ja na ena wo nanti no ono na ene wo kasa sa abre no obi be kasa biti eni bi se o kache mi se ana se mi ti wo wadwum se mi ti kun se bibi kenya mi se menye se ne nyina no eye Kristo na wo ni nante no ono na wo kasa kire wo sa abre no ono ye fe no wo higher self enti eyadia o se yetumi tu yanamo senia Kristo na owo yakoma mu no yebetumi anyen no na wadere abeye kese ewo yemu na eba no sanso a na ye ni nyame abeye baako na se yebetumi aya wei no nyame ama yakwanya bi a odi ne gya ahye mu eja miensa baako ye odo baako ye nyansa ena baako nsusu ye tumi odi odo ne han nyansa ne han ena tumi ne han odi ahye mu na wemu na ye wesu na yefa ena yebetumi atu ya ye nsusu ye damso a na ye nsusu abe ye nyame eye akwenya se yetu anamo edifa odo nyansa ni tumi ekwan so a ye nsusu no yebetumi aba abe nyame nti akwenya a ya mayen na bra yodi asa akwenya nsusu amayen no de won ban say bra yetu ya namo wasase so no tore bia se nyame epese odi yen adwuma yensu ye mumuyo no akoye adesua akoye ehintan you say adia ekata epese ekata nyame na adwuma na opese ye odi eye no nti bra we ni nyina ekoso at the same time ewo mu no den na obetumi aye oho na ohia obi a obetumi amawo ochrekere obetumi ahye wade say counselor and as a teacher na ne what die we koso wa brabo no ase bra wo feel say wo bre no anasa o how na bebresa ato no sa bre mu susu no na nyame susu e fa kwan bi say opese wo ra wo mu na ade we mienu no say na obetu anam ma na yeye oho nunti na ohia ochrekere ni anasa ohia counselor a obetumi aboawo ewo saa etibianom na say ebinom nanti was assisted that ufa bi say Saint Teresa of Avila and Saint John of the Cross now kan omuhu abako semwa ubehu die omu fe mu ansa na omu di nyame enantie se nyame was assisted so ani yebetimi aka se udi nkunimu a eyede nanso enhyase no eyedin ono nti na ohia se obi kire wa die na saa nkyerɛkyerɛ a obenya no ono ena asena masters omama ya kwenya yede brɛw se ususu obetumi asua yenka se free wa sorry mu ne be kan ye ho wa sorry ubetumi a register bia bebra wo asori no still ubetumi asua ade wo yourself one po a ubetumi asua ade bra wa register no ubetumi asua ade wa no say your conference your workshop your seminars na say o pese o ba ubetumi ba na obesua wa ade okofia na wako practice ye nka say tufi wa asori mu ne bra ya asori say do baby a wankasa ho say o baby akoye de mi pese because joining ya sorry ya anu de na ya sonko na mum churcha ya di bai no ubetumi asua bra still udi wa sorry esum bra wo fie se won kwa sorry bia mpo a still utumi register na wasua ade no etie for we na me de bra yen anwumre mecha so ewa ha na ya bie phone lines no na mususu mabem mo wase bisa bia na mabisa anase adwinkyerɛ bi nso a na mo akyerɛ na mase just as I bie phone lines no
Reverend, my question is say ye pese ye to say nyame no
yeah
sisi ano enimienu na efre yen ba ko frɛ ko ha for us being the image of God no I didn't know taking on take yen. Na yen struggle through that.
I just thought, dear Nadia Bar, as I say so. A honor as a mono. Yen, yes, sir, I miss all my enquire, na yemba as I say so. Yes.
Reverend say,
Yen, yes, sir, I miss all my enquire, na yen so young coy explore.
Reverend me man zeno.
And only we ask God for permission to go out and explore. That is why we are on this earth. And God gave us out as sparks of light. Billions and billions of sparks of light to go out with the free will to go and explore. Do as you want to do. Terms and conditions apply. So you are here to do God's will. So you came here crying, "Lo, I am come to do thy will, O God." Nanso so bad. No I call wiki but no I call tell baby now yen kwasiade. Now yen we here. You have to pay the price. And we are talking about purgation. Depending on the kind of things you have done, then you know whether you are going to bath with the net from the fisherman, or you are going to go for that one that you get for the fruit, that scrubbing thing. Some people also scrub their leg with stones, isn't it? So depending on the mud you have put on yourself, you need a special scrubbing. That's the purgation.
Alright, it's here for most of it. We have 0240358182. 0240358182. 0240358182.
96.9.
182. Now, Reverend, some of the other also maybe sound a question. Hello. Yeah, yes, sir. What did you say? No preferring.
I'm actually the friends.
Brad Prince, see you.
Now, question can come to me, or how the community now, a yin here, Yamidi Stacy, and has to be open Stacy. Man, after beautiful. The thing is, of you are Yamidi Stacy, and after I guess, the video was in the question of
yes.
Me too, I see a power.
So that.
0240358182. 0240358182. 0240358182. 0240358182. Also, for all the question about now, Reverend, maybe be a question.
Yo, I just send a meka no ebe pa say yenya mre outside of okay.
Hello. My radio didn't come for any kasa. Good evening. Did you say no preferring? Okay.
But next thing is after Christian no then I buy the Yamina one.
Okay. Okay, that's all I say. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Ajapa.
Nana Himari, this is not preferring.
Yes, I'm see that because I see Papa.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Not so focus on yen yesterday already. Say, oh, my young baby, I say.
No, me say, maybe I mean, Kaiser.
That's okay, according to Genesis Nazwa. Also, now if you say, I am Saka. Now, if is separating issue from Asase. Now, over here, you have to see, and I say, young boy, say, yes, so. Into a young PFC, a catcher, this on boy. But you're not sure Kakamani.
Maybe after Chrissy, no more after Hono. And oh, yeah, baby, son, what do you say?
But I say, oh, my Kaka.
You, me, that's it.
You have 2 questions now, by yeah, no matter.
Okay, I just me I shall say I say ye be here mra bebre enti bra ye ka we ni nyina no ye dwen hu say so say ye be ye die na ya hia na ya adi nsam hu nkita hu bebre let me cite this as an attempt to use an example to answer the question that the first caller gave. Is it every problem that we can see as a way that God is trying to bring something into our lives? There is something called the dark night of the soul, which is a period where you can simply say everything you touch doesn't work. Everything you touch doesn't work. That is a moment when God is putting something into you. And therefore, He has shattered all your outer senses. This is a full-blown lecture by itself. It has shattered all your senses. So, wa close it down ni nyina because our brain akoya say you are imprisoned. Ucha ohu bebia enye the only way you can look is up. That is where you bow your knee and say nyami buami. Let's take this story where a woman has married and somebody has come to throw her off from the marriage. And in fact, this is a part of a practical thing that we use in our studies in school as college seminary, in our ministerial training. This woman is married. Another woman has come to throw this woman out of the marriage. And later, to just cut long matters short, later on, this woman that was thrown out of marriage happened to visit a hospital, and a woman who has taken the husband is lying helpless in hospital bed. And the question is, should this woman who has been thrown out of the marriage and is in position to offer assistance to this woman who has taken the marriage, should she offer help to this woman or not? Eventually, the woman who lost the marriage offered help to the woman who has taken her marriage, and the woman got healed. So the point there is, there are so many things that happen here. Either you are sacrificing yourself, you are surrendering certain portion of yourself, you are being selfless in devoting to that thing. These are all things you need to study on the way. How do you handle such a situation? With what understanding are you going to decide to help this person or not to help the person? In this situation, you have been thrown out of marriage. It's the problem in your life. But that situation has now become a test to you as to how much you can sacrifice of yourself to save a dying soul who has tried to throw you into the pit. So there are so many ways God can use to direct your ways.
Okay, Reverend, our time is running out. Let's come to our own.
I know you are very much interested in your own. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If we all know, by now we all know that the Genesis story is an allegory. Nemana aye sakasa basa basa wa asase no, asase so no, it was life that was lived before.
Mm-hmm.
It was life that was lived before
Okay.
by some souls.
Okay.
When they got things messed up to the point where they were walking like animals.
Hey.
Yes. So the Genesis story is not the beginning of life.
Okay.
Let's get that clear. The Genesis story is not the beginning of life. So the coming of souls into embodiment was the desire of the soul to come out to also experience God or to experiment God. That is how we came forth. So if you take it from the Genesis story, then you got to put the Genesis story in the right perspective.
Okay.
There was life on earth before the Genesis story.
Okay.
That is what I can say there. So we came forth from God as souls desiring to go out and explore God in our own way. And God gave us that chance.
Reverend, our time has run out, but God's willing, next week, also my time be brave now.
Yes.
So we topic we in
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah,
Martin. My cell phone number.
Yo, thank you very much. Listeners, our time is up. My number is 020 812 5078. 020 812 5078. Church Universal and Triumphant. Our location is at Adenta SDA Junction near Mami Dokuno School. As I said, if you are interested in pursuing the teaching further, just call me and I will show you what to do. Thank you very much.